All right, here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. This one is the hot little mommy. Let's see, gotta get that fold in there. Ooh, damn, dude. All right, so today's guest is living proof that you can go from combat boots to wrestling spandex to having a viral pizza shop in his backyard and still have your sanity intact. We're interviewing Anthony Rivera, who is a Navy vet turned Army soldier, turned wrestler, turned burlesque performer, turned into Las Vegas pizza boss. Yeah, you heard that right. He's done a little bit of everything and he's still showing up and making things happen. And this is just the beginning of his story. We're gonna see a lot more from Pizza Neo here in the next couple of years because he has a lot to share with you guys, and I'm excited for you guys to hear this story. So we're talking rock bottom, redemption, viral videos, and what it really means to rebuild your life with your own two hands, one slice at a time. This one's got heart, humor, and heat, and I'm not just talking about from the pizza oven. So let's jump into this. Hey, Anthony, thanks again for having me here. I'm excited to talk a little bit about your life story. So first off, we're gonna dive into your military experience. You went from the Navy to the Army.
Yeah.
How did you even get started with the Navy?
This is gonna sound silly, but I grew up watching Top Gun. Goose and Maverick.
Oh yeah.
So I love that movie, and to me, I joined the Navy when I was 17. I literally had to have my parents sign a permission slip for me. Uh, I was kind of young and wanted to party around the world, and I thought that was just like a great way to do it. I was like, not only can I serve my country, but I can party, meet ladies, all those things that you care about when you're 17.
Yeah. So you were an OS, right?
Yes.
That's operations specialist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what brought you from that to deciding to join the Army?
So I did do one Westpac deployment from 06, 07. We were out there for about 8 months. We came back home. Half of the ship took leave for 2 weeks. The other half took leave for 2 weeks. And then our captain sent us right back up to Canada and Alaska. So we were away from everyone for a long time. And I got so tired of being 6 on, 6 off, 24/7. And for those of you that are not familiar with the term, 6 hours I work and 6 hours I'm off. That's 24/7. So you basically never get a full 8 hours sleep.
That sounds a lot more brutal than a 12 on, 12 off.
It's
even
brutal. And when I joined the Army, and we'll get into that, but when I joined the Army, we finally went to 12 on, 12 off. And it was just like godsend, So about my third year in the Navy, the Army came to my ship. They had like a full presentation. They literally brought the whole ship's crew onto the flight deck. Everyone stood at attention while the Army did their presentation or whatever, and they were down people, and they were looking to bring people in to help them out over in Camp Victory in Iraq. That's how sick and tired I was of bloop 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 on the radar.
Oh, yeah.
And being 6 on, 6 off, and never getting any sleep. And I was like, yeah, take me. Yeah. And another reason why I wanted to go to Iraq is because I had a big cousin who went to Iraq. And my whole family kind of saw him as like a hero, so I wanted some of that.
Oh, yeah.
Really cared about that at the time. I was 20, 21.
So your time in Iraq, what is something that you were able to experience there that really stuck out to you and kind of inspires you now today?
I took some L's out there, so I guess how I would apply it to life is pulling yourself back up and letting things go and forgiving others as well as yourself.
Yeah.
And just keep going.
I totally agree with that. Like, I myself was in the Navy. I was stationed at Top Gun, which right
Nice.
there. And then you have the experience with both branches, both the Army and the Navy. Kind of how does the culture between the two branches compare?
Um, kind of all the same, really, as far as like a vibe goes. Your chain of command and a lot of hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah.
I will tell you this though, I think the food is a lot better in the army.
Oh yeah.
That is one thing I could tell you. Like, uh, when I got to Iraq, I was blown away by the food quality because
That's not something you expect.
I didn't expect it. I could tell you that much. Because the food on the ship was a little rough.
Yeah.
Especially when we go to the Gulf, out there, because then you don't even get things like cow milk. You gotta
Yeah,
eat,
that's true.
yeah, you gotta drink goat milk with your Lucky Charms. It's a little weird.
And your friends, family, they're all really supportive of your switch.
Yes, my older cousin that I referred to earlier, he was proud of me. My mom was proud of me. She was a stress case during the time. Um, I think I probably added some stress to close ones in my life, but they supported me nonetheless.
So, your time in service, how did that transform into your wrestling persona? Kind of give me a little bit about that because I know there's got to be a little bit of inspiration in there.
I guess what I took from military to pro wrestling was just to respect that chain of command. Uh, yeah, I when I was green, I tried to listen to everybody. I got some great advice from one of the older guys, one of the older wrestlers. He said, listen to everybody, and anything you don't want to take in, just let it go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
But listen to everyone. So I did that, and to this day, I still respect. I have a respect for anyone who's already been doing a craft that I want to
Oh, yeah.
get into. I'm not one to step into something new thinking I know it all just because I watch some YouTube videos or something like
And
that.
that's perfect. You always have to be learning, have that thick skin, but also allow things to come in and out and kind of pick and choose because people have good experiences.
Well, I've learned that if you're willing to just admit that, like, hey, I don't know this, I kind of need some help with that.
So, when it comes to being a vet, everyone has their own perception of what that means. Is there any perceptions that get thrown towards you as a veteran that you don't necessarily agree with and you wish people could think in a different light? I know.
I just wish people would have a little bit more of an understanding. We can be brash,
Yeah.
a bit, and a bit straightforward with our communication. And I think people take that as threatening. And I wish people would just kind of understand that, like, we just believe in taking the shortest possible route to get
Yes.
something done. And that's really what it's all about. We're not trying to be rude or step on toes. That's just the background we came from.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. So, we step into this civilian world where it's a little more human sensitive. I don't know what you want
Yeah.
to call it, but
We're all about the process and not the result in the civilian world. But when we're in the military, it's results first, ask questions later. If you got it done, it didn't matter.
yeah, exactly. As long as you got it done. What's funny is, like, in the civilian world, the higher up you go, the more, cutthroat and efficient that it gets anyway.
And that's the thing too. You see, there's more and more vets that are in higher positions or CEOs, as well as vets that are owning their own business. Like I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. Like that's the thing. Is like
Maybe
we
that
thrive from
comes
that.
with your idea of having to have a thick skin.
Yes.
Because yeah, we're a little more direct, and I think the people that are higher up, they can appreciate that because we're more efficient, and that's what these big wigs want. They want efficiency, and if you're not using AI robots, a veteran is probably the next best thing.
Oh, I know. Who knows what the next 15 years is going to hold? I don't want to be that age where like I have to ask someone to teach me how to use my cell phone or teach me how to use a computer. So I try to keep up with it, but stuff is moving really quick right now.
Really quick, yeah. I try not to. I don't even have Chat GPT on my phone because I don't want to. I don't want to weaken my what's this word again? something thinking, comprehensive thinking, or
Comprehensive thinking and soft skills.
yes, yes.
Yes.
I don't want to lose my comprehensive thinking or soft skills because I've been relying on AI.
Oh yeah.
So I probably am going to have to dabble in it eventually,
Yeah.
starting this business that I am doing. I actually am talks with the AI guy right now.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
setting me an automation thing so that at my next event, I can have people lock themselves into a database so that I'm able to communicate with my following better, even better.
Perfect. So throw
When
that
it's
into
time to
CRM and
open and
automate it and have everything text and email
exactly,
out. Yes.
exactly. So I mean,
Unfortunately, I'm well aware.
even I'm dabbling in it. I must admit.
And that's the thing too is ChatGPT, AI, it's really not what people think it is. Like if you're not engineering your prompts to the way where you're getting the results you want, you can't just ask a borderline question and have it spit out what you want. It takes a lot of stuff to get to it. And I feel like as AI progresses, it's going to be the people that took the time to learn how to manipulate it that are going to go
Yeah,
forward. But that's also going to be a mandatory skill in the workplace.
it is. Pretty soon, it's going to be the new, spreadsheets or Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it can edit spreadsheets, Excel, all that, put it all together for you.
So learn to work with it so it can work with what you need to work with, I
And
guess.
I think in that space, vets are going to do a lot better because they have that push, that drive, and that think out of the box mentality to get stuff done. So when all of the like computer stuff is handled by AI in the next 10 years, I think vets are going to be on top.
You're probably right about that. I just hope that we continue to use it to push our businesses rather than use it to do our comprehensive thinking. Because at the end of the day, I believe we talked about this before the camera started rolling. Is like it's not really about numbers, it's about
Yeah.
passion. It's about putting your heart behind something that
That's
you believe in.
100% it. Like that's the thing. If you're not driven, you don't have that passion behind you, what are you really doing? Like, yeah, you could have money, but you see millionaires, billionaires jumping off buildings every couple months. And it wasn't about the money. It was because they didn't have that passion, the drive anymore, and they lost that. So that's something that's really important, and people need to find that again.
Serving people, I've met unhappy rich people and unhappy poor people, and it really has had me thinking like what makes someone happy or what makes them unhappy. And I think that progressing in something that you believe in is really what makes people happy.
Oh yeah. So speaking about mental health, you before the camera started rolling, you talked to me about addiction. You talked to me about jail and hitting rock bottom. What did that moment kind of look like for you? When did you realize, hey, I'm off the rails?
Oh, when I woke up in jail, I had been drinking all the day I went to jail. I had been drinking all day, and I had a show. I was completely smashed during my performance. I drove from one city to another,
My gosh.
and then I got into a fight, and then I was in jail. So at that point, I got out of jail a week later, reputation completely ruined,
Yeah.
and I was at my mom's house with pretty much nothing but a cell phone, a mattress, and a TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was like, wow, I'm here now.
And that's the thing. You can't really realize things are going to go off the rails until you smack into a brick wall. And before you hit that brick wall, what was the reality of your daily life?
I would work whatever job I could, I would work somewhere, be a crappy worker, get fired, go find another job, just kind of hop around doing whatever. What money I would make, I would spend on drinking, partying, cocaine, Molly, hanging out with girls, not chasing my purpose at all.
Yeah.
So, I was still wrestling. So I'd get this amazing high from wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm a pretty good wrestler. So,
You just want to ride it out after.
yes, and I could pop the crowd and, get that high from that party after the show. And then I would come home to, crashing on someone's couch.
Oh, yeah.
Renting a room at a homie's place, never having my own stuff. And then I would just be waiting till the next show and the next after party.
And that's not sustainable long term.
No, not at all.
So once you finally hit that brick wall, or I mean, jail cell, who was that person that helped you take that first step, that moment to recovery, that, hey, I need to change because I can't keep doing this anymore because I fucked up?
That credit would probably definitely go to my mom. She's the one who actually picked me up from jail and still brought me back to her home, even though I was a fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's a veteran podcast, so like it'd be weird if we didn't a little bit, but not like.
Yeah, not like a Quentin Tarantino film. I got you. I got you. So two people that really helped me after my rock bottom was my mom and my best friend, and who I referred to as my brother, the super beast, Chris Crody. You know, my mom was the one that picked me up from jail. She still brought me back to her home, even though I wasn't very lovable at that point. And the super beast, you know, he was that bro that was like, I got you.
Yeah.
Everybody online was trashing on me. He was defending me, and he was like, "That's still my dog," you know, like.
Oh yeah.
And I saw that, and I was like, "Wow, that's a real homie right there."
Oh yeah.
And then we would link up, and he pretty much, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get out of the hole, and he was like, "Here's what you need to do. Like, stop this goofy shit. Get in the gym, because the gym is gonna show you how you can push past your limits.
Oh yeah.
And keep going, and that's gonna bleed into all these other aspects of your life." And it did. So instead of drinking and partying, I just started hitting the gym every day.
And a lot of people don't realize that moment of like, I need to change, that moment of recovery, it's just as much of a snowball effect as forming the addiction, is forming that. Because like, it feels good to be like, I did that shit.
Yeah,
and be
that's
proud
how you build
of it.
confidence.
Yes, exactly.
And nothing changes if nothing changes. So, you know, replacing all that partying with just going to the gym and exhausting myself so I could sleep.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the time I was very anxious and
Oh,
very
yeah.
like, you know, very sad inside because I spent so much time not chasing my purpose. So
Yeah.
I felt very behind.
Oh yeah.
At the time. I got lost in my thought.
No, you're totally fine. So, let's see. 3, 2, 1. If you could find a time machine, go back in time, and then find that version of yourself the day before you ended up in jail, what would you say to him?
Honestly, my answer might have been way different years ago, but right now, where I'm at right now, I'd be like, go ahead, keep doing it, bro. Because he needed that. That version of me needed to. He needed to go to jail. He needed to hit rock bottom. He needed to, you know, be looked down upon by, you know, the community. At the time, the wrestling community.
Oh yeah.
He needed that because the fake praise getting, you know, from everyone for wrestling, but not even having my real life together.
Yeah.
You know, all those little Band-Aids, they don't matter.
And that's the thing. Inspiration, drive, it looks different for every single person. And you need that like origin story. You need that push. So like, I hate to say I'm glad that happened to you, but
I'm glad it happened to me.
You're sitting here today because of it. Like it was a necessary evil.
It was. And I don't even think it was an evil. It was a result of my decisions, my choices, and the daily routines that I had.
I would say that's fair.
Yes, it's very fair. It's very true. And I think that if you could face the truth and accept your own mistakes and take personal responsibility, then you have the power to change it.
Oh yeah.
You know, people, including myself in the past, when you blame other people, you're just giving them the power over you. And you can't, until you take personal responsibility and say, it's me, you can't make the changes because you're giving everybody else, you know, you did this to me, and I'm just, you know, I'm just a victim.
Yeah. So in that point, you were already a wrestler. So already a veteran, did that tough guy kind of persona that you're putting on stage make it harder to kind of ask for help?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want your followers and your fans to see that deep down inside you're not the person that they see,
Oh yeah.
coming to the ring dancing with the big shiny coat.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to ruin that image. God, I remember I used to be so about my image. Like, I didn't want no one to see like the real, like, weak,
Oh yeah.
insecure me for so long. And like, now I really pride myself on like being as transparent as possible because I believe that that's
Love
how
that.
you vibe the highest.
Well, that's totally like, if you're not yourself, who are you? Someone else.
You're trying to be, for me, I was trying to be that image.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know you referred to it as tough guy, but for me at that time, it was just a big flamboyant, hey, look at me, everyone type character. That was my character, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's the thing. That means something for every single person. But you are out there exuding confidence. You are out there showing, yeah.
yeah. What would my followers think if they, if I can kick out of a barbed wire chair to the face,
Yeah.
but I can't pay my bills, what would they think of me? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. Oh, really? You just gonna fall asleep? That's what's hot in the streets, bro. I want that clip.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have all of this. I'm gonna give everything just to make money. I got my real estate license while I was still active duty.
Tell people achieve their,
Yeah.
that's
And that's the thing.
that's
like,
it for some people.
Yeah.
Like that's the cap. Like that's the peak of the mountain.
Well, like, especially in Las Vegas, do you know it's 140% more expensive to rent than it is to just own your own home, even with the high interest rates right now?
I had no idea.
Like,
I knew it was a little more. I didn't know it was that bad.
yeah. So, like, if let's say you owned a condo, that'd be $1,200 a month, roughly, give or take.
Yeah, exactly. My wife had just got one for 14.
Yeah.
2-bedroom.
14, 2-bedroom. Exactly.
Right?
And you know how much they charge for rent for those?
Huh.
18 to 2,000.
Oh, man, that's
Like,
crazy.
it's ridiculous. And a lot of vets, they don't realize all the benefits that they have to them. So when it comes to buying a house, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's too much. Oh, the VA inspection, that's too much. When those things are just there to protect people. That's the thing. Owning your own home, I think it does a lot for mental health. Having something where you can be like, hey, this is my spot. This is where I belong.
Exactly.
Be able to do whatever the hell you want to it. Like, I think that means a lot for a lot of people.
Getting my first home meant a lot to me because, as you could see from my backyard, it gave me something to bring the neighborhood together. And that was important to me because I feel like everything is so social media this and social media that. And a lot of young people just have their faces in their phones. I wanted a way to bring back some old school face-to-face interaction and some neighborly fellowship.
Oh, yeah.
So I started throwing pizza parties back here in my own space, and we started to connect. I know this neighbor, that neighbor, and the two across the street have all been back here to eat pizza and hang out. Now we watch each other's stuff. Now we have a little tight niche, and it's all because of having a place to do it and pizza.
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful thing too. Like, I grew up in the Midwest, so we wouldn't lock our doors, and like your neighbors would just come over and grab something out of your fridge if you needed it to.
Not a whole lot of that going on nowadays.
The last 10 years, it's been a huge jump to where like people are shut off. They're so in front of their screens and the
very
internet.
isolated now.
But that's the thing, you have to be to kind of survive. So it's like that back and forth, but people kind of forget how to have friends, how to talk to people, how to go out, especially if it isn't going out to drink.
And I've also noticed that like the most successful people out there,
Yes,
they have somebody else doing their social media stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing all the face-to-face interaction with people. So I think that we could all take note on that.
Yeah, and it's so hard too. Like, you can read absolutely everything, and positive and negative feedback comes to you in an instant. So it's a really weird
Absolutely.
world, and it affects people's mental health.
It's made me happier.
You just got your keys to your house. Tell me what that felt like when you first got your keys and you realize, hey, this shit's mine.
That was one of my like proudest moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when this was all empty and I had nothing here and I just had the key and I had my lady here and the realtor here and I was able to give them a big hug and realtor gave me like a nice little housewarming gift and then I just like looked around and was just like, oh man, like I made it.
Oh yeah.
That was the feeling. Like there's no other way to describe it than just like, hey, I made it. I'm always gonna have something to sit on, and yeah.
That's the thing too. Like owning a house is a vehicle for generational wealth. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like you have something that instead of paying off your landlord's mortgage for them,
Mm-hmm.
you're adding value to yourself. This is a house, but it's not a house. This is a savings account that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't see it that way, but that's the way it needs to be seen, especially in this day and age.
I get equity letters all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, we see you. We're reminding you. Like, yeah.
So you mentioned that Dolly helped you out with this. How did your partner kind of help you to get there to owning your own home? Like, what did she do to push you that way?
Well, she already had a home in LA, sold that, came here, got a home, sold that, traveled the world, bought a condo. So
Yeah.
she already been there, done that. So she really put me on to some game, uh, explained to me the processes of everything. And using the VA loan was nice because, for the inspection's sake,
Yes.
as well as the no down payment, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because even though I didn't have a down payment, I still had to throw $5,000 in for the
Yeah.
closing costs and things of that nature.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize it. Like, yeah, there's zero down, but that's just zero down. You still have your closing
Yeah,
costs, you
yeah.
have everything else. And a lot of times, like with my clients, I do what I can to get those kind of wrapped in and have the seller pay for them. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not a reality all the time in this market. Like it really isn't. So it's hard.
I wonder how the market is looking right now because I was able to get this for 190.
Okay.
And my wife is more into it than I am into the market, and she was like, I can't find really any houses now that
No.
are at that price right now.
Yeah, you.
At least for the little. I have a humble 3-bedroom
Yeah.
here. But yes, she was saying that I can't find a humble 3-bedroom for the price that you got yours. So I'm grateful for my realtor and the Barrio for providing me an affordable home.
And that's the thing too, is like being a vet, you have that superpower when it comes to the VA loan. You have your benefits, you have all this stuff that comes to you. And that's the thing, if you're not utilizing your benefits, what did you do it for other than personal
Yeah,
gratifications?
and one thing that you got to let the people know is like all veterans get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a run and gunner soldier out
No.
there, risking your life to get the VA loan.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to do that if you want that pension.
Like one of my clients I helped a couple months ago, nicest man I've ever met. He's 70 years old. He was a chief in the Navy, and he was originally looking to rent a house because he didn't know he could use a VA loan because he thought you had to still be active duty to use his VA loan. So there's so many things about like the benefits and stuff people don't know because they don't ask and they don't look. And I've seen people take two VA loans, put them together, and then buy like a massive 6-bedroom house with like a casita and everything.
That's cool. I didn't know
I've
you could
seen
do that.
people use multiple VA loans to buy a multi-unit property. So where you had 4 units and then they just lived out of one and then rented the other ones out and
That's
then
sick.
covered all their stuff.
That's
Like there's so many things you can do with it. You could even build your own home with a VA loan, buy the lands and then have all the construction costs covered by your VA loan and wrap it all in there. Like there's so many things you can do with it and people.
I'm gonna keep that in mind for the next home.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too is a lot of people don't know is you don't just use it once and
It's
then you
not
can
when
never
it's
use it
done.
again.
No.
Once you gotta wait a little while,
Yeah.
but but we're talking long game here.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's different rules. Like if you're staying here in Las Vegas, 3 years. That's the cutoff. Like
Wow,
once you
that's
hit
pretty
that
good.
3-year mark, you can apply for another VA loan. Or
that means for me,
yes.
not to interrupt. That means for me, I got this in 2023. So in February 2026 next year, I can do it up again if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
do it up again.
That's incredible.
You can turn this into a rental property and then wash, rinse, and repeat. So I have a buddy of mine, and he actually inspired me when I was first getting my license because he has 5 rental properties right now underneath his belt. He's been in the Navy for 20 years. And every time he PCS'd, since his first duty station, he would buy a house, PCS, and then turn it into a rental and rent it out to a guy from his unit. And
That's
then
dope.
the next time he would PCS, buy a house, rent it out from a guy from one of his units.
And not only is he doing well for himself, but then he's able to help his people as well by providing, home.
Yeah.
Who doesn't need a home?
So he's set. He's like, once I'm done, like, never having to work again in my life.
Yeah.
His first mortgage is almost paid off because he's been rolling everything down.
Sometimes I wish I retired, but if I retired, I would have never, went through my wrestling experience.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. You serve what,
5
years?
Yeah.
You served 5 years between 2 branches?
Yeah. I did 3 years in Navy, 2 years in Army. Yeah.
That is a rapid fire.
Yeah. Yeah. They sent me back to the Navy to process out.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It's because I did what's called augmentation. So I went into the Army, but I still had my Navy insignia. But I was wearing full BDUs, and everything. Oh, it was a very interesting time to be alive.
You don't hear about that very often, but I've seen a couple people just wearing like the Army and it just says U.S. Navy right here.
Yeah.
Like I haven't really seen it outside of Corpsman though.
Yeah,
or like
I got tons of pictures. Yeah. Man, I'll never forget. I passed by a soldier one time and he like squinted his eyes. He looked all close at my chest and he was like, and then he smiles and he goes, "Okay, hoorah, Navy, hoorah." I'll never forget that. That's one of my funniest memories from being in Iraq. Okay.
So we talked about wrestling, we talked about the Army, the Navy, your mental health, and kind of how did that transition into owning your own home and then opening up to your whole community, getting a pizza place in your backyard that you invite everyone to? Like, tell me about this.
I just believe in just stay working, I guess. Yeah. My hours got cut and I started to feel it, and then I got laid off. Come to find out, I wasn't the only layoff. It was going down strip wide pretty much. And I didn't want to, I was ready to work for myself, I guess. And my pizza had already kind of, with my friends and my neighbors and stuff, had already kind of started to bloom. But
off camera, you were telling me about that $35 pizza story. Tell me that story.
Oh yeah. So what really kind of was the trigger to start my pizza business was I had already started making my own pizza for maybe 6 to 8 months at this point. And my wifey took me out to eat for my birthday last year, 2023. That was the catalyst that made me ready to sell my pizza. Was my wifey took me out to dinner for my birthday, and I was thinking like, you know what I want? I want like a bomb ass like authentic pizza. So she took me to a place called. Actually, I'll keep that on the low. I don't want to put nobody on blast.
Yeah, we can't put no one on blast.
Yeah, but I went to a really nice Italian restaurant to get a really good pizza. It was a $35 margarita pizza. Now, mind you, at this point, I've been in the pizza game a minute. Quick minute, but a minute nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
And the margarita pizza is dough, sauce, cheese, basil.
That's it.
Olive oil. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
this pizza was $35. So I'm like, a $35 margarita. This is about to be the bomb, And I bit into it. And I was like, man, my shit's better than this. Yeah. So I was like, if they're selling this for $35, I know I can sell my shit.
Well, that's the thing too. When you spend money like that, you want it to be legit.
Yeah.
Like you want it to be good. and that's your hard-earned money. $35 is $35.
Now, I got to say this: like, if you do want a really good margarita pizza here in town, you got to go to Signora. Signora food truck. I actually draw a lot of inspiration from that place.
Yeah.
And yeah, just find them. They make the real authentic margaritas that, I think they're $17 over there.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, not bad. I sell mine for 15.
Yeah.
So
Where does Signora the subtle hit in there? Yeah. Where does Signora usually hang out?
You have to find them on Instagram because they're food trucks. So they post their weekly locations every weekend. So just look them up. It's definitely worth the shot, worth the drive.
So you told me Pizza Neo was not the first name. Kind of tell me that origin story of how you came from where you were to Pizza Neo to now.
So it was just like a little fun side hustle for like my friends here in town, on my days off, just to make a couple extra bucks. I would, put the word out like, hey, I would take pictures of my pizza, put the word out like, hey, if you want one of these, I'll deliver it to you, just let me know. And that's how I started. Yeah. And I started with the name Devil May Slice. And that was because my original Instagram handle, and what I still use to this day for pro wrestling and dance, is Devil May Grind, which that is a play off of a video game called Devil May Cry.
Yes.
Also, they have a series on Netflix. You're welcome for the plug.
That's with Dante, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I know a little bit. I don't play very many video games.
Dante is basically just the anime version of Deadpool. He's an awesome character. Yeah.
So you said it's not just about pizza. What's the bigger mission of Pizza Neo?
Like I explained earlier, how like I had my neighbors, all three of them across the street, and then the neighbors on both sides of me. I brought us all together with pizza.
Yes.
And that's what the mission is. The mission is to bring people together, get some face-to-face interaction. A lot of people are real nasty to each other online. But nobody is hardly that nasty to each other. I mean, don't get me wrong. I see fights online and stuff like that. There's always, people butting heads. But like for the most part, when people are face-to-face, you need that. Because
you really do.
People aren't really rude to each other face to face. There's a respect. Yes. People understand to be respectful to each other for the most part.
You can see where people have come from and like see their background.
Yeah, and then you realize that even when you're different, you're not that different.
No.
You still got to eat. You still want some love, and you still love, Marvel movies or whatever it is.
Yes.
Pro wrestling.
And that's something that more people need to see in 2025. Like we're kind of all the same. Like, there's not that much of a difference between us, except for where we've been and where we're going. Everything else,
we all need the same things.
We're just skin and bones.
No matter, we all bleed red. Yeah. No matter what our background is. Mm-hmm. And I think having that fellowship and in-person interaction reminds us of that.
Yes.
I think being online and communicating with each other via social media has separated us a little too much. So I want to use pizza just to kind of bring people together. Another thing, if I can start this business from just like a side hustle and delivering to my friends, if I can build it up and really make something special out of it, then I can use my story to remind people that when they get knocked down, they can get back up.
Yes.
Because I've been knocked down so many times, mostly of my own accord even. Mm-hmm. So, when people knock themselves down, they feel guilty. They feel like they can't get back up.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to know that if somebody else has knocked you down or whether you knocked yourself down, you can still have a pretty awesome future.
And that's the thing too, when it comes to like drive success, if your main inspiration isn't cash and it's helping people out, you're already successful. It's just scaling that.
So before I started Pizza Neo, I was actually trying to get into selling insurance.
Okay.
And I was taking classes and everything. Like I have 2 notebooks, full ass note. I spent so much time trying to learn this stuff. And by the middle of my course, I was just like, this is literally just to make money, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I was not happy about that.
You can either
And-
work to live or you live to work.
Yeah. And that's the moment that it hit me, where it's not just about money.
Yes.
You got to chase your purpose. And for me, I really feel like my purpose is to remind people that, yeah, if you get knocked down, you can get back up, and you can still thrive. You can still have a nice life. Because, you know, we just covered my rock bottom. It wasn't pretty.
No.
Like, can you put yourself in those shoes for a second and imagine you just got out of jail, your whole community hates you. You're living at your mom's, and in a room at your mom's, you have nothing but a TV, some clothes, and a mattress. And if I could continue to push and really create something special, then yeah, I think that my story can help out some people who've been in my positions.
I think so too. And that's the thing. If just one person hears it, that's a domino effect right there. Because then someone else is going to hear their story and their story. Like, you got to think about it. You don't just affect the people that you interact. You affect the people that they help, and then they help. It's a chain effect. And that's the thing that we need in 2025 is just people inspiring other people. Realness showing through. And I love that message for it.
And yeah, speaking of realness, that's now that I'm my most authentic self out there.
Yes.
I don't feel like I have to hide anything. I don't stress about, you know, what if they find out about the real me? And I could just say, because I'm sure, you know, let's say I go viral again and then again, and then people, you know, haters are really like, well, I'm going to find something. I'm sure you can dig up some crazy shit that I've said in the past.
Yeah.
Or, you know, me being rude to other people that have and saying some crazy shit to them. If you wanted to, you can probably go through my shit. But that's a part of my story. That's a part of it. And I could look anybody in the face and be like, yeah, that's how I used to be.
And those things really only affect you if they affect you.
Yeah. And I could just look you in the face and be like, yeah, I was totally angry and I wasn't a good person when I said that. You know, don't be like that.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's better than trying to hide it and trying to sweep it under the rug, because then you're stressing about it.
Yeah.
Like, what if they dig and they find this out? Should I delete my Facebook and start a new one so that they don't find anything? You know, nah, just own it.
Just be you.
Just say, yeah, I said that crazy shit. I was off the rails at the time.
Yeah.
You know?
You mentioned going viral. Did you know that was going to happen? Did you kind of have a feeling? Did you even know that the person was filming that day?
I did, absolutely not. And honestly, when I did go viral and I had to shut down, she got some slack from some people online that are like, it's your fault that you shut him down. But like, I never did that. I never did that.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility that she asked me if she could film. She explained that she was an influencer. And I said, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Now, I did do a little research on her page, and I saw that she had about 9,000 followers at the time. So I was thinking, like, you know, I want to sell more pizza, but I don't want to blow up because I know that this is like a speakeasy technically.
Yeah.
So, but I was still like, sure, you know, I still want to sell more pizza. I don't, you know, I had no idea it was going to blow up.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, cool, yeah, we'll get some more eyes on Pizza Neo, and maybe we can get off some more pizza if people see videos of how I make the pizza, because I make it with all fresh ingredients.
Yes.
So like, if people can just see the product, you know, maybe, you know, we can get some more people from around here to come out. And that thing blew up.
Last time I checked, it had, between the several different videos, almost 500,000 eyes have seen it.
See what oh man.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting that. So yes, I had to shut down immediately because I don't have my papers, and I wasn't trying to create a pizzeria that was open to the whole ass public. This was, like I explained, this was a side hustle for my friends and my neighbors.
Yes.
You know, and yeah. The next day after that video came out, we had people showing up at 10 a.m., like knocking at the door trying to get pizza. And they were like, oh yeah, we're visiting town and we saw this TikTok. And we're like, what? Ah, this is
That's
nuts.
gotta be unreal.
Like, yeah. people from Wyoming were like, yeah, we saw this TikTok and we're just here to check it out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I was not trying to
That's a
like,
lot,
because
especially when it's your house.
first of all, I mean, I really do believe in playing by the rules. I don't want to take customers from people that have paid the dues and paid the fees and
Yeah.
permits and licensing. I don't want to take away from those businesses that did it right. That wasn't my goal to get, people from Wyoming here. I was like, yeah, if people, see the video, maybe I get some more people from the east side to come out. Wasn't thinking people would want to come here, even from the strip or from the west side or anything
Yeah.
like that, let alone people that are here traveling.
And
So
it's your fault for having the passion and the story that drove people here in the first place, and having bomb pizza as well. Like, that's the thing. When you have a story like yours where everything drives it forward, people are going to show up. And that's the thing too, is what's the next step for Pizza Neo? Now that you have that support with Veteran Benefits Guide, you have the experience, and you have the push from Fox 5, what does the next year look like for Pizza Neo?
well, today's Sunday. On Monday, I'm going in and I'm going to get my LLC, or start working on it at least. And then I'm going to get my business license, food handler's card. From there, I'm going to start looking at ghost kitchens and food trucks. I'm going to see which has the bigger deal out of the two
Okay.
for me to start up. I am leaning more towards the ghost kitchen right now, but I will continue to do research because I have had two really good um, prospects for food trucks presented to me yesterday.
Oh, nice.
But before I even look into that, I want to get my papers first. So
And that's honest and respectful, and I really appreciate that.
yeah, I do want to do it right
Yes.
again. And I know I got some slack online from people that are like, you can't do this. Like, you can't just start a restaurant in your. And I understand that, but again, this was just a hangout spot for
Yes.
me and my friends. That wasn't my intention for it to get so big.
Sometimes things are just bigger than you think they are.
Well, if you look at that her handle is, and I apologize if I get this wrong, I believe it's at themarkles.lv.
Mm-hmm.
And all her other videos didn't have that many views. So that was another reason why I was like, oh, okay, her her hits have like 1,500, 1,000, 2,000 views. Like, that's not a big deal, but my video, as you said, is 500,000. So now that we're here, let's do it right, and then let's capitalize on what we got going on here.
Yeah. And I think the ghost kitchen is a fantastic next step along with the food truck. And that's the thing, you can probably do both at the same time.
Think so?
I think so. I would pick one to start with, but like, you can move from one to the other pretty quick and then jump between the two. Like, if you have people that are offering you opportunities with food trucks, I would capitalize on that for like events and stuff.
Yeah.
And like food truck Fridays type thing.
Yeah, there is First Friday over here that always pops off. We got EDC coming up. There's always an event going on here. I mean, it's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of EDC, like, I remember I've paid some ridiculous money for pizza at like festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2017 up at Electric Forest. I paid like $40 for pizza.
Oh man, I hope that was a good pizza.
It was mid.
Oh man, see what I mean?
No,
see what I mean?
know.
That's how I felt when I went to go get that margarita in my story. That's how I felt. I was just like, oh man, I thought this was gonna be some bomb. This is mid, But yeah, now we make the bomb pizzas. So
That's the thing. You have to.
Yeah.
So you're self-driven, self-motivated. What's someone, if you had to tell someone that's stuck in survival mode, something that helped them get their butt out of into gear, what is that something that you would tell them?
You probably have no confidence, so you have to start doing things to build up your confidence, because you have to believe in yourself before you can put yourself to where you want to be.
Yes.
And the way that you believe in yourself is by building your confidence. And the way you build your confidence is you have to put yourself through some hard stuff. For me, it was the gym. And it could be anything, it could be like learning a new skill. um, getting physically stronger, more flexible, just something physically hard that you have to like push through. When you're at that low, you have no confidence. So you have to
Yes.
do stuff to build up your confidence. And you have to build up your confidence so that you can eventually believe in yourself. It's hard to believe in yourself when you haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do is consistently do something hard so that you start to become the person that you say you are.
Yes.
So an example is a good example would be, okay, I have work at 8 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and go work out for an hour before my shift starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to do. It's very hard to wake up in the morning. It's very hard to go to the gym when you're tired. But if you consistently do that and push yourself through those hard things, that those days will add up. And before you know it, you'll be like, wow, I have woke up and gone to the gym
Mm-hmm.
at 5 a.m. now for 30 days, 40 days now, whatever it is after you've pushed, past that time. You're like, wow, I did that.
Yes.
So now I'm starting to believe. And now your gym schedule and your gym prowess is now bleeding into what you want to build or what you want to pursue in this life.
Yeah.
Um,
Got to do hard things to get hard.
yeah, exactly.
Phrasing. I was like, pause.
That's why we can be motivated, but motivation kind of comes and goes. So ditch the motivation and have discipline.
Yeah.
Have the discipline to do whatever hard thing it is and challenge yourself. You're not going to get any confidence if you never do anything, and nothing changes on the couch.
No. I mean,
No
something might change on this couch.
No pun intended. This couch though.
Oh, I know. I've been sinking into this thing. Got to catch myself from like diving deep into this thing.
Yeah, I can't sit in this thing first thing in the morning. I got to do all my stuff because if I do, it'll be over.
Got to do the hard stuff.
Exactly.
So you've lived 10 lifetimes in one. You went from the Navy to the Army to a wrestler to burlesque to a pizza, and now, is there anything else that you say to anyone else that's listening that needs that push for a flex?
Just do what's hard. There's a saying out there. It's if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. But if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. Don't be afraid to. There's a lot of naysayers out there where if you show up to work a little early and if you stay a little later, there's a lot of haters out there that are going to be like, look, why are you doing all this extra stuff? Like when I was grinding, people were saying, oh, you're a slave to the system type stuff. The haters are saying, but forget all that. Don't listen to the naysayers. Do your work because someone is going to notice. Yeah. Someone always notices. I don't care what phase I've been in, like after my rock bottom, I always put in more work than everybody else. Somebody always notices. Whether it's an authority figure, a peer, or someone below you. And it's good either way. If someone above you notices, then they could help pull you up. If a peer notices, they can help push you. If someone below you notices, then they're going to be inspired by you. Either way, just don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. Because people are going to talk shit because it's easy. Yeah. Anyone can talk shit, anybody. But who can get up and push themselves? Who out there can wake up early? Who can stay late? Who can who can go hard when it is time to train? Yeah. Who can do that? Show me that. Because anyone could talk shit.
You can't talk shit about being hard if you've never been hard.
Exactly.
Awesome. Hey, Anthony, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for sharing your story.
Pleasure. Thank you.
That's it.